start on Thursday night, from Thursday night up until really Sunday morning. They just do whatever they wanna do, cause it was a playground. They,
And the playground is
Yeah,
all
that
public
playground.
property, right? But that should be closed at dark, right?
The playground's a public, is on public
well,
space.
it used to be a playground there, okay? They tore the playground out, that's that area on, Maryland Avenue where the leak was at. Yeah, 21st Street.
But is that property Carver Terrace property?
That's Carver Terrace
Ah,
property.
okay. So it's
Car-
private.
Yeah, it's Carver Terrace. But as I said, it used to be the playground there, but, you know, they condemned it because I think it was like an oil leak or something was there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Captain, I think it again goes back to what you're saying, you need to notify the property owners if it's on private property. So I think that's the first remedy, is to notify the private property owners. If that doesn't reduce the noise, then call you guys.
Yeah, and the reason I want to emphasize this is a big takeaway I want, not only for you all, but for all my officers. When we go into private property, we have to be very delicate how we handle these situations. I think everyone here has seen a high-profile incident on the news where perhaps the police, if they took a step back to reconsider the implications of what they were doing, would have done it differently. And if we go into a private property where people are having a party and someone will get in the night, we deal with it all the time. We just simply can't come in there and arrest people because some tenants are disturbed by it. The organization, the property management, whatever you want to call them, that oversees that property has to be unified and has to come up with a protocol on how they want to address disorderly tenants or the guests of disorderly tenants. And that's how the police will be more effective when we do need to go there and assist.
Any more questions from the public? Here's one back here, sir.
What was the high-speed chase through Trinidad last week?
I don't know about a chase.
There were cars going.
Oh, I'm sorry. There was a park police. It was related to a park police case. I don't know. I think it was a carjacking in reference to their jurisdiction.
Because there were 4 or 5 MPD and park police and helicopters out.
Yeah, it was a park police. It originated for park police. We were in Area 6, but I don't know the specifics on top of that.
Any other questions from the citizens?
Captain Beverly, I just wanted to let you know, we discussed, we're having a landlord roundtable, and I've included some of those properties. I've reached out to the property manager, the head property manager for those properties, because they're negatively affecting the quality of life for my residents. And I initially spoke with the woman in the office. She's not user-friendly. She could not resolve the issues. So I reached out to her boss. And I want to make sure that we get these issues addressed so that there isn't an ongoing problem. But if it's a problem for us, it's certainly a problem for you and your team. Can you also give us an update on the shooting,
From earlier today?
unfortunately?
Yeah, so unfortunately the victim was pronounced. That information will be released publicly through our homicide unit, so I won't get the details on that. It's an adult male. It was the 800 block of 19th Street Northeast. And I think most of you are probably engaged. You know the numbers to call us for information. 202-727-9099. That's your command information center. Any tips about any crimes you can forward through there. You can also text tip anonymous information to 50411. Whatever that is, text the 50 to 411. And just important to note about that, that is truly anonymous. So if you want to be contacted about a text tip, you have to give your name and number, okay? Some people like to do it because it's just a common practice. And of course, you can always call 911 too, if you have any information.
Just one quick thing. Thank you so much for your comments, Commissioner Henderson. Commissioner Butler, is this your area that I'm speaking of?
Yes.
Okay, so I would actually need your support on this.
And you have my full support, madam. And as I also indicated, we're going to continue to work with the police, but I think now you have a sufficient protocol when the noise arises again. This is the first time I'm hearing of it, so just let me finish. First time I'm hearing of it, but now we have a protocol to adequately address it. And if this protocol fails to work, call me.
And I'm having the first time hearing it since every meeting I've attended, and you've been, and most of the meetings I've attended, I've got the same subject up because it keeps being a problem. It's not getting resolved. I hate to be a broken record, but it's not getting resolved.
And I hate for that too, but I believe now we have an adequate protocol. And I'll try to follow it and work with you to eradicate this noise. You're very welcome.
can we expect a quick closure to this event?
I hope so. I can't comment on the investigation because it's an active, open investigation. I can share with you all that we don't think it was random. That's any source of comfort.
All right. Any other questions for the police officer from this? All right, thank you, guys.
Thank you. Nice to meet you all.
All right.
Thank you, Captain.
Ms. Sislo, you're up next from Councilman McDuffie's office.
All right, good evening, everybody. Okay, so a couple things we're gonna talk about, and I'm just gonna stand over here. The budget, we talked about the budget, and then we have a movie that's being filmed, in 5D, and we wanna talk about that and the process with the filming and the impact to the residents. So, budget-wise, we have submitted the budget to the chairman of the council, and May 15th, there is a review of that budget. It's the first bite of the apple, and there are about 7 things for 5D that are included in the budget. And then May 29th is the second review of the budget where it gets locked down. And then whatever's included at that point, the funds become available October 1st of this year. Okay, and that starts the fiscal year 2019. So the things are included for 5D. We have a senior renters support. It's about $167,000 that will go to the Committee for Community Development. And that would be for seniors, for low and extremely low income seniors, rental assistance, where they're not already getting assistance through a voucher program or government assistance. So that would be a separate set of funds that would be available to help them. We already support ones that are in a homeownership situation, but not the rentals, and so that's really filling the gap for that. The next one is 2 new main streets. That would be Bladensburg and South Dakota Avenue, so those main streets have been funded. And then there's a study for a bus service on New York Avenue for the circulator bus. And then the next item is an improvement to Model City Senior Center, and while that's not in the district, I know a lot of seniors from other districts do use the Model Cities. The next thing is modernization of the Brown Education Campus. And back in year before last, we secured $5 million in long-term funding for Brown for the year 2023. And the budget supplements that and brings that to the total investment for modernization to $40 million by 2024. So that's a $40 million improvement to that school. And then we have continued funding for the Expanding Access to Justice Act. And that is for landlord and tenant issues, and that's the civil Gideon law. So that will help out some people here. The next budget item is funding of the NEAR Act, 2 parts to it. That would be the data collection requirements and then the Office of Neighborhood Safety and Engagement. And then we have, that's it for the budget. So just keep those dates in mind. We'll also send this out to you guys in email. If you have a particular affinity to a particular budget item, we recommend emailing the chairman of the council to advocate for that so that it stays in the budget up through the 29th. Because over the next 3 weeks, things get sliced and diced, and we want to kind of keep these together. So it's really important that the community back the things that are recommended in the budget. The next thing is we have the Office of Cable Television. I have Herbie here. So you guys are fortunate enough to have a movie being filmed in 5D. The unfortunate part is there is going to be some parking that is taken up, and our office was just notified today because one of your residents had faxed us a letter with the flyer that was provided. And so we reached out to Office of Cable Television. They're going to talk through the movie details and kind of the impact. But as I understood, what happens is they notify the ANC and Commissioner Butler. You said you did get notified. And I guess they've made some arrangements for parking at the Heckinger Mall.
I made the arrangement.
Oh, you did? Okay.
I know that you didn't include me on this email.
Yeah, I didn't know about that.
My constituents were impacted. And
Okay.
I reached out to Mr.
Good.
Niles
Okay.
and Mr. Barrett. We
Good.
worked it out.
Okay, great, okay. So, and I wasn't sure who was impacted because we only got notified by one person, but I figured there was probably more. Yeah, So we just want to know going forward how this process works, and also the street sweeping is occurring. We're asking DPW to suspend that and be lenient on any kind of parking violations. Oh, you don't think it's necessary?
We don't want street sweeping suspended. You should have communicated with me.
Okay.
It's worked out. We'll hear from Mr. Knight
Okay,
and
well,
Mr.
let's
Barrett.
find out who else is impacted by that, but the idea is we want to minimally impact the residents, right? So they reached out to us. We hooked you up with the Office of Cable Television. I'm gonna turn it over to them, let them talk, and
Well, good
figure out a
evening,
plan later.
everyone. My name is Herbert Knopf. I'm the Associate Director at the Office of Cable Television, Film, Music, and Entertainment. So I'm really glad that I got an opportunity to come here, and I would actually like to meet all the commissioners, at least get a chance to speak with you on the phone about the policies and the procedures, because they can obviously be improved. I got a chance to speak to Commissioner Henderson, and she was very understanding. I explained to her the policies, and I'm explaining it to everyone. So the procedures when a film company makes a request to film or park on public streets, film on municipally controlled or managed properties, they can pay the city a fee, and if they conform to some rules, they're allowed to film and park in the spaces. Where the disconnect and the miscommunication happened is as part of that process. It's very important to our agency that the community that's impacted gets proper notice. Because if the city does street cleaning, if they're gonna do the alleys and repair the alleys, fair notice to the community so they can make reasonable adjustments to their schedules and their lifestyle is the least that we can give to the community. So where that fell apart, now we actually have one of the co-producers and the location managers, Stephen Barrett here, who was part of the process of canvassing the community, leaving notes. And so we do feel that the production made every good faith effort to do the right thing, but still every box is not checked. And one of the things, the reason why we're here and we want to engage in the conversation is our agency wants to create a process where notification to the ANCs with due advance notice happens on a regular basis and in a systematic basis. I talked with Commissioner Henderson. One of the mistakes is apparently the city gives a standard or generic email account that really doesn't get to you properly. There's a mix-up with that. So one of the things our agency is going to try to do is make sure we connect with all of the commissioners and have your true email address and have your true phone number. So if there's an issue that you have with us, you can call us right away, and the production can make sure when they make a good faith effort and they think they sent it to you, that they know it got to you. And I know there was, go ahead.
If I may,
Sure.
thank you so much. I'm
Sure.
so glad both of you are here. Just to give you a tiny bit of background, I was sharing with my constituents, we understand that the sign, the no parking sign went up on Friday at 10 a.m. We didn't know about it. I sent your director a hot little email about the lack of communication, and we want to make sure, and then we found out that Mr. Barrett and your team, we sent it to the ANC email addresses, so we worked it out. I was able to connect with the mall management, the security management for Eckerd Mall, and I'm very happy that they agreed to allow everyone on Maryland Avenue, 19th Street, and M Street to park there, and Captain Bedlian actually also agreed to put police force still there right now, because the parking is until 8 p.m. and I think parting on the 10th to make sure the cars don't get broken into. So it worked out. It worked out. I had the pleasure of speaking to you. I am, based on my conversations with you, Mr. Niles, glad you're here, and you, Mr. Barrett, I'm convinced that there was outreach. There was just a disconnect. But going forward, and I said that, since Mr. Lee was identified as your ANC liaison, the ANC liaison for every agency should have the correct email addresses for every commissioner in the city. And how that's done is you just simply call the Board of Elections and Ethics and you get our contact information. Because at least a third of commissioners that I'm aware of throughout the city do not have consistent access to those ANC email addresses, and that's a problem. So at this point, we're very pleased with the increased communication, and we look forward to a seamless,
in our feelings, it shouldn't have come to that. And we appreciate how you stepped in at the last minute and used your relationships with Heckingers to alleviate the situation for your residents. But the point here, it shouldn't have had to come to that. And what we want to try to create going forward is a system that doesn't have those breakdowns. And so one of the things, that Andre and I are going to work on, we're going to do a whole spreadsheet of all the ANC commissioners and make sure we have redundancy. The ANC email address, the email address that you prefer to be reached out to, and any phone numbers that you prefer to reach out to. And we're going to put policies in place where when there's any kind of significant impact of this type. Because I think I told you when we spoke, I live in Ward 4, and if someone's mother-in-law comes in for 2 weeks and parks in front of someone's house, it's like a major situation. So I can only imagine how your phone blew up and your email blew up when people didn't, saw these signs go up. So
We're
I
very
wanted to
supportive
appreciate that.
of the office of cable television
And we think it's a great film. It's
Yeah.
a really wonderful film about a real historic DC resident that really fought for a groundbreaking low-income resident tuition support program so that they can find the best schools for their kids in DC. So it's an inspiring story. I sort of told someone it reminds me in its spirit of that Morgan Freeman film, Lean on Me. It's just really a heart-warming story, and it's something I think we're going to be proud of when it's out. But when the sausage gets made and people get hurt and they get inconvenienced, that bothers us, and we just want to mitigate that and want to make sure that doesn't happen in the future. And so with that, I know we have questions for the agency. I wanted the representative from the production to get a chance to speak a little bit about the production and the good faith efforts that they made.
How you doing? I'm Stephen Barrett. I'm actually a Ward 5 resident. I live in Trinidad Avenue. When I first got the project call, they said, hey, we need a neighborhood. And I thought it would be a great idea to bring it to Ward 5 and bring it to Ward 5. We've made donations to Carpenters. We gave them $2,000. We made donations to Freedom Bible Church, right on K Street, Maryland Avenue. We gave them $2,000. We also paid Atlas for to rent out their space for the next 2 days. Me and my team, we walked around with a letter, and there was a big miscommunication on that letter that said March and not May. So that was my mistake, and we came around with a new letter that with the corrected date. That obviously was too late for the residents to. They've already decided to say, "Oh my God!" And even today when we filmed, we filmed and we gave back 90% of the parking already. Like we were filming for about an hour at the most, and then we moved on to the next location, and we ripped the signs down. And even when people came and said, hey, can we park here? Yeah, you can park here. We're not going to give any tickets. We're not going to call for a tow. So anything anybody needs to know, we were trying to communicate with the residents. We wanted everybody to know what was going on. Like she said, it was the wrong email. Even when I came here, the reason why I was late is because listed on the website was the Bladensburg Road address. So I went up there and I'm calling him, asking him like, yo, where's the building? It's not here. So when I got here, I was like, this can't be it either because it was like a big truckload. And I'm like, oh my God, where am I going? But I just like to apologize to the residents who were inconvenienced. That's something I don't want to do. I go to Howard University right now, and I live by campus on 14th Street, and every time I go home, it's like bar district restaurant area, and I see people parked and I can't find a parking spot. I'm cussing out the rearview mirror, the windshield, like, where can I park? Go home. So I know how it is to be inconvenienced. So I just want everybody to know that wasn't our thoughts. And that's why I showed up to this meeting. I wanted to let the community know that we do support and that we are trying to make a difference. And that's what we're doing with this film. Because Virginia Water Ford made a difference using groundwork for education in 2004, and that activism doesn't have a voice anymore. So we're trying to give that a voice, and give that a voice from a DC resident's perspective. So,
You had a question?
I actually have a suggestion. I work for local government and I work for zoning. And so when you have a project come into community, normally within certain parameters, say 5 or 4 so blocks, you get a postcard saying, this is what's going on in the community, plan ahead for it. That's just a suggestion that I have. Maybe you can look at GIS mapping system software to figure out who's going to be impacted and send those postcards immediately. I'm kind of questioning why it came to this point right now. I was in a movie in Georgetown 3 years ago in the middle of someone's back alley. and there was no issues there. And I also know, like, when you notify ANCs, not every ANC email, or people say they can't get into their emails, but not every ANC representative can blast their community because not everybody's on those chains. So that's why I'm going back to, you can send out a GIS mapping software to say, we're within 5 blocks of you, this is where the movie's gonna take place, send a postcard out, let people know. It gives an extra layer outside of the people that the commissioners can't contact themselves.
And you make a good point. That's why we've got part of the redundancy was we have the notices that they put on, around the neighborhood. And in addition to that, we thought between notifying the ANCs and canvassing the neighborhoods with the notes that they put on the door, we thought we'd be covered, but it didn't work out.
Well, certain
So this is
localities require that a
learning
public notice be
experience.
sent out ahead of time,
Right.
right? Within a certain parameter of time, notifying people, this is what's going on in the community. And so, I don't know if it's codified under DC law, but that's a suggestion.
Right.
Look at, mapping software, figure out where the area is, and just send small postcards out saying, this is what's happening in the community, plan ahead. That's a suggestion, so.
So what are the actual areas that are being,
Excuse me?
what are the actual areas that are being affected? Like, where are you all filming? Where?
So right now, we are filming on K Street and Maryland Avenue. And then the actual areas that are being impacted is 19th Street. It's that small, between 19th Street and I'm gonna say M Street. Like that whole little strip from Maryland Avenue and back 19th Street that's that top of the hill right next to Carver Langston. That's where we have our work trucks parked, and those are gonna be moved probably in an hour or less. Then tomorrow.
You're saying, can you speak up? Can't hear you.
Oh, tomorrow we're gonna be impacting my neighborhood at the top, which would be Montello Avenue, Mount Oliver Road, and Sims, and that's it. No, the buses will not stop being run.
No, I'm concerned because now this is my.
Sure, of course.
Yeah. So
I never hear anything about
Oh, Montello.
What is that about all of that?
And Mount Sims and Mount Olivet.
So,
Yeah.
Trinidad.
Yeah, Trinidad.
And that's the other thing, just one of the,
But the buses never get impacted. We don't impact residents. We don't impact. I walked around. And Trinidad has been notified with the exact dates and times that we're going to be around there. And I put letters. I personally went out with my team and we stick letters on the door in the houses. We put them in the doors. We talked to some of the residents. We let them know what was going on. That we were going to be filming around.
and to your question about WMATA, one of the other notifications that we do, we have a liaison that we always deal with, and her name is Tessie May, and I can give out her information. Whenever we have any sort of permitting that might impact any sort of bus routes or circulator routes, we reach out to her. We reach out to her and let her know what the impact is going to be. She said it will not interrupt any of the routes. And I think I put her in touch with Commissioner Henderson as well.
Because we were very concerned
Yeah,
that
the X8, for example. Yeah, so that's one of the other redundancies we try. We try to cover anything, any public services that might be impacted by filming. And so we always have, and that's why I want everyone to have my contact information, because if you call me and say, our residents are worried about A, B, and C, we probably have a list of our agency partners, whether it be DDOT, whether it be WMATA, that we can call and mitigate the situation or resolve the situation.
I do have one more question.
Sure.
Sorry, I don't remember her name.
Stephanie.
Stephanie, is the scholarship program that she established still around?
I'm gonna say yes. What they do is they give out DC public school system students tuition. They basically give them tuition and they pay for their
For them to go to private?
to go to private schools.
Okay, I think I know the one that.
Yeah, it's a
okay, I
voucher
have one.
program. She petitioned and fought really hard.
Virginia Ford, some of you
Yeah,
may know
Virginia
Virginia
Walker
Ford.
Ford. Yeah. You can Google her, you can put her out and see what she's done.
We do have one issue. While I think that we, after having, subsequent communication, we were able to work it out. But it seems like we didn't get proper trash collection today. So that's why I wanted to share with you. We didn't ask for trash. We never want trash collection. It'd be suspended.
We had it.
Was the-
I woke up to it this morning.
Trash.
Because it looks, from the alley that I just showed you, it looks like they didn't even come through there. And that's where most of your,
I watched with the trash truck go
They
through
came
that.
through.
They came through.
Yeah.
So then they were just negligent today. So then we got Mr. Shorter and feedback. That was just. Okay,
Yeah, you have a question.
So I just have one comment to follow up on Eddie's point about the CGIS. It's actually in the same building, and they have a department that can send out those notices on their behalf.
What was?
Optum.
Okay.
If you wanna, you can just change it.
You guys are on the
Yeah.
email. You're on the email part already.
Oh, okay, all right. We're on the same email chain, so let me know. Okay,
Okay, well,
that'd be great.
thank you, Mr. Knapp.
All right, thank you, thank you.
Thank you.
And the commissioners have my contact information?
No, I don't have your contact information.
Oh, you
I
don't? Well, the chairman does, I think we
Can I have
can.
your contact? I don't want it from the.
And let me just say this, Mr. Nye, the ANCs are elected representatives in the city during the home rule charter, and every ANC in the city serves as a liaison between the mayor, the council, and the district agency. So while we appreciate redundancies, we want you to use the process that's in place. And the process that's in place is to contact the ANCs, and the ANCs contact their constituencies. We don't have to do anything new, we just have to make sure that process works.
Right.
That's not the best reach. That's not the best reach for every citizen
So
that's
we have
impacted.
to move on now.
All right,
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Cool.
Oh, she has a question. I have a question. I was the one to wrote to the mayor's office about the parking because M Street never got any kind of communication that we could park at Hackney or anything. I have a neighbor who has 24-hour home health care where her nurse is gonna park. I don't think they're aware of that. My mother doesn't drive. I work at home a lot of times, so that's why I know because we weren't getting any communication. So
I got you.
somewhere the communication.
I put out 50 of the notices. I didn't actually know that there was going to be a restriction on M Street because I would have put out the same notice. I put them out all on Maryland Avenue, K Street, 18th Street, and 19th Street.
Okay.
So we missed you.
Because we got utility work and all that,
Right.
so empty is like so big, you know, like, I work at home with my.
Gotcha.
From 10 to 11. So we didn't.
I'll be working with Mr. Butler, to make sure. I used to be your commissioner and I still love you.
Commissioner Henderson, I left some information, pamphlets right there. You have my number.
Okay.
You can call me whenever you need me to come out and speak to you.
Thank you.
Okay, we're gonna move on to any other community concerns that weren't just addressed. Community, this is your time.
I have one suggestion. I posted the announcement for this meeting today on Nextdoor, and I know everybody's not on Nextdoor, but I had someone who is part of the deaf community ask me why we do not have a deaf interpreter here. We have $96,000+ in the ANC bank account. That is a public service. There's probably a few limited amount of police officers that can sign in the city, and they are police officers that are called across the district. They're very limited, probably less than 5, and they may not be able to attend every meeting, and it's very disheartening for me. I am able to use all of my faculties, but it really upsets me that someone in this community cannot attend an ANC meeting because we have failed to include people that don't have all of their faculties. And so I think we really need to focus on using part of the money to, shore up that people that have other issues can come to these meetings. We had it in the past commission. I gave them your contact information. I really hope in the future that they reach out to you guys because there is no excuse. We have a new building, we have a website, but we don't have a lot of people here that could be here simply because they can't, because y'all are talking and they can't hear anybody. So I just think it just upsets me. So I'll go back to them any day, all day.
Okay, any other community concern?
I would like to speak on that point. 800 of my population is at Gallaudet, which is a deaf community. I have repeatedly asked that we have an interpreter here. So I completely agree with his request because we even made this building able to accommodate a person with
Disabilities.
The deaf disability. So yes, if we need to use our funds to do it, but I also heard that we can get it done for free. So you are the chair, please reach out to the right liaisons to make that happen. 800 of my constituents are deaf or are from that community.
Whether it be free or not, because there's limited resources from the police officers, and I agree with that. I just think that is a free service provided by MPD. I just don't think that the officers, number one, are always going to be available. And so that's the issue. So whether they might be here one meeting and not here the next. So let's just be consistent and just get someone here, and you'll have more people here that can participate in this community. And that's my 2 cents.
Thank you, Commissioner Lewis. Thank you. I got
So
it.
actually,
I got it, Commissioner Lewis.
please don't cut me off.
But we gotta move on. And we understand the problem.
No,
We
I
had this
want
problem
to say
before.
something else. At next month's meeting, I'd like to put on the agenda that we actually vote to add it to our budget. I know it doesn't really affect your population, but it affects mine.
I think that everybody agrees that we need to have it. No one's ever moved. No one's ever.
But I've made the request a number of times, though. Our chair has not been doing most of the things I request. And that's why I'm publicly asking that it's on next month's agenda that we vote for it.
Well, I
Would you
think
like to make a motion?
before we do that, we need to make sure that we reach out to Officer Myra Jordan. She's always been available to sign at any public meeting that we've had, and she continues to be available. And I certainly like to make sure that we utilize that resource before we go out to get someone else and pay for someone's friends. Because I think there was an issue where, we had a sign interpreter that ended up being the personal friend of a past commissioner.
Not true.
That's
Not true. Not true.
Honestly, we're not spending the money we have.
Thank you.
And if it's to serve a population so they can know what's going on with the community, I think it needs to be done. If we can't get free, we need to pay for it. We pay for a website, so we can pay for that.
Thank you.
No, we just need to ask.
But it's clear, let's just make a motion on that at the next meeting.
Excuse me, but you know, the whole point, I had no problem with it, Commissioner Lewis, with having a sign interpreter. I didn't know that was your passion, because this is the first I've heard
It's
from you.
not the first time. I said it
Excuse me,
repeatedly.
Commissioner Lewis, I have not, you hardly communicate with me at all. So I have not heard from you on this issue. We did have one, and we paid for one that was a complaint. I don't think we should take the Metropolitan Police resources to use it this time, when they should be out there fighting crime and helping victims of crime,
Yes.
not interpreting meetings.
You don't
But
need to tell them what their job is.
I said I don't think we should.
I'm
So,
telling you, she's available.
Commissioner Henderson, Commissioner Henderson and Commissioner Lewis, I am speaking. And we can vote on it now, if that's what we'd like to make a motion. We can do that, and we can vote on it now, and we can move forward with this.
Perfect. I put a motion on the table that at next month's meeting, we either decide to pay for an interpreter or have the process in place that we're guaranteed to have a free one at every meeting.
I would like to amend that it not be a
Because he doesn't want
guarantee.
us to do it now. I would prefer to do it right now, but if he's not willing to do that,
Do what?
Officer Myra Jordan is a woman.
Why wait a month?
You can put it
in a
on the
perfect,
floor.
okay, then I'll put it on tonight's floor that we vote to have either a paid interpreter or have a guaranteed interpreter at every meeting.
And I'll second the motion.
Friendly amendment. I would just like to ask that Commissioner Lewis restate the motion to reach out to Officer Myra Jordan first to confirm her attendance at these meetings for the purpose of signing for our hearing impaired community. And if she's not available, then we reach out to get paid interpreters and with 3 bids.
I actually have it implied that we would have.
You don't accept that friendly amendment? You don't accept it?
Can I speak?
What, do you accept it?
No, I'm not accepting the
Okay,
friendly
then that's- we don't have to
amendment, but I
explain.
do agree that we should have 3 bids if we cannot get it free.
Anyone?
TC actually has a contract with one ASL interpreting firm, and I think you have to use those for the most part. So check on the procurement regulations, but in the past, when it was discussed 2 years ago, that was an issue where
I don't
you had
have
to
any issues with asking Officer Jordan. I
Commissioner
don't want
Lewis.
the commissioner to just say we don't have one
Yeah,
next month
thank you.
because she wasn't available.
Commissioners, could you restate the motion as you would like it?
I put a motion on the floor that we either pay for an interpreter at every month's meeting or we secure a free interpreter.
I'll renew my second.
Motion's been,
I'll renew my friendly amendment that we ask Officer Jordan first for her availability to attend the monthly ANC5D meeting.
Implied.
If she's, well, no, we don't need to be applied, we can
That's
stay
all
with that.
will you accept that amendment?
I'm not finished, can you please be quiet?
Will you accept that amendment,
I
Commissioner?
don't want to accept
She
the
said
amendment
no.
because she might not be
Okay,
there
she
by
said
next
no.
month's meeting, which is
She
why
said
I'm-
no, Chair.
All those
Let's
in
keep it
favor of the
moving.
amendment as stated by Commissioner Lewis, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion passes. 4, Commissioner Henderson, I didn't hear a vote.
Abstention.
4 with an extension for Commissioner. 5 with an extension for Commissioner.
Blows my
Henderson.
mind.
Sign interpretation.
Did you hear the information about the CC?
or the chair, or the, I don't know who the
Commissioner.
teacher or the treasurer.
Who
they are
ascertain
the
whether
ones
that
who need
information is
the-
appropriate or not?
I will follow it.
All right, next on, is any other community concerns?
Sorry about that.
Concerns or announcements?
The concern first. Any other? Okay, I have an announcement from Ms. Cunningham for Pepco.
Yes, hi, good evening, everyone. Linda Cunningham, External Affairs Manager for Petco, and we're enhancing our outreach. And we have an ambassador,
I'm
Charles,
Shop.
and he'll be attending meetings each month with our eyes and ears. So we can make sure that we get out to all of the ENCs. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Next on the, did we see a case that's still filed? I know about that. Okay, Commissioner Bugs isn't here, so we're gonna move past. Is anybody here for 1505 Neal Street? Okay.
Do you know if they're going to, the BZA?
No, I do not, but I think it actually was postponed.
Oh, okay.
They requested BCA to postpone the
Right,
case.
that's the, yes.
I think they asked Yvonne to be put on the schedule for
June,
June meeting.
after the June, yeah, or not June meeting, that's correct, I did see that. All right, next that's on the agenda was Kovacs Liquors, Commissioner Shropshire.
So I'd like to move to protest the liquor license renewal for Kovacs Liquor. At the time that we voted on the liquor licenses, last month or the month prior, there was no need, to vote against them, but I've since been informed that they've requested extended hours, and so I think that the community should have an opportunity to weigh in on what those hours would be and why they're requesting that. So I am, putting a motion on the floor to protest their liquor license renewal so that we can actually be at the table to negotiate that.
I'll second that motion.
All those in favor of protesting Kovacs Liquors and their renewal, or their renewal with extended hours? Their renewal with extended hours, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion passes 6-0. Next on the agenda was Union Market, Union Oyster Bar and Lounge.
Hello everyone, just want to let everybody know, the commissioners in the neighborhood here, we are opening up a restaurant called Union Oyster Bar and Lounge. It's a block of here. Just like to let everybody know that we're opening up a new restaurant called Union Oyster Bar and Lounge. It's just a block from here, it's on 501 Moore Street. It's a full service restaurant. We have live music there, live entertainment band, jazz music, blues music, international music. Some of the foods that we're going to be serving is oysters, which is Union Oyster Bar. Oysters are main food that we're going to be serving there. I know everybody likes oysters. Pizza, and seafood. We do have, popular drinks, all the latest drinks that, that everybody likes. We want, full community support, commissioner support, for the restaurant that's opening up here, probably in July. So I have my business partner here, Russell Webster. Russell, do you have anything you want to add to that?
No, I think you guys are nice to us all.
Stand up, so we can hear you.
No, we just want to, they have another nice restaurant, we have a steakhouse down there, and all the great food we already had inside the we have kids eating, pizza, food. We have, one of the assistant regional manager of the restaurant, which was a good rock,
So, and what do you want for the commission?
We need a letter of support
For the open or for liquor license?
for liquor license.
Well, I think before we talk about letters of support, I'd like to hear some information about your management protocols, how you intend to address patrons, that may cause a disturbance, because we want a business that is, that is well managed, well operated, that is certainly not a drain to the police or, an impediment to the peace order required in the community.
Absolutely, I can understand. We have a full security
And I'd like to
plan.
see something in writing.
We have a full security plan. We have a strong security team that's also undercover police officers that we have.
So reimbursement detail.
Yes.
And have you registered with the office that handles the reimbursement detail?
That's it.
I'd like to see a plan. When is what is your
July.
open in July? So you have some time.
And also, I'd like to say that my community is excited about having another restaurant, another option. We've allowed other restaurants to get liquor license, so I don't see why there should be a need that they are not afforded that same opportunity.
Well,
I don't think-
Commissioner, I'm just doing my due diligence, and I'm addressing the same issue I address with every
No.
potential liquor licensee. I'm consistent.
No, and she is, she really is. I just wanted to have it on the record. The community is supporting this project because they have come before the community. Commissioner Henderson always asks for those same things, so it's not.
We'll be glad to provide that. We have a security plan in place, and we can share that with all of these. It's not registered, but we've worked with a lot of experienced folks here in the restaurant industry, trying to get all the good people in, because it is a big restaurant, and we understand, the neighborhood is important, we want to make sure we support the neighborhood, have programs in the neighborhood, also the deaf communities here in Gallaudet, we want to make sure we hire some of those people in our restaurant. So we have a plan in place, and, we feel that it's going to be a really great opportunity for people to come out and have some good food and really have a good time. It's a low-key restaurant, it's not, it's not a nightclub or anything like that. It's just good food, good entertainment, live entertainment, we have a piano player there right in front. It'll be a nice thing for the community.
And one of the things I actually spoke with them about when they came is the fact that it is near that population, and they had a plan that would include their safety.
Have you had ABC camera training yet? I would ask that you provide the requested documentation, and come back to the meeting next month, and we can vote it once we see the documentation.
So you will have to finish our regulation next month. We don't own the buildings.
Praise God, I can praise it.
Could you speak up so we can let us
So I was asking a question, so you would want us to wait because we want to be open. July.
You can still be
By
open.
June or July?
July.
Okay, so
You can still be open if you came back.
what's the piece about the rent though? I'm confused.
But also we have bills to pay, they're trying to keep this place open. She was saying another month, so she was saying.
Continue the word process. Don't delay your process. All she wants to know is your security plan. So whatever you've been doing, continue doing all of those things. Get us in writing. the
I
security plan.
can afford y'all security.
She's not going to take that because she wants to read it.
I do.
You know,
I do.
I know her
And
well.
I think that, again, it's nice that it's always nice when people come before us and they promise to be good neighbors. I think it would really be irresponsible of the commission just to, or simply because you seem like two nice gentlemen that want to come to our community. We should have something in writing that we can review so that we can vote and inform.
We already in your community, we want an existing location.
I'm asking that you continue
No problem.
with your processes, simply come to the June meeting, and we can give you a letter of support contingent upon receiving your security plan and a plan, you know, for the orderly operation of the business.
And I simply ask that you meet with me before the June meeting. I'll come by and make myself available anytime to hear what you have to say
Okay.
at that time.
Okay, I have a comment in regards to that. I was actually going to say that until the commissioner section, I am open to all commissioners meeting with my developers. However, if you're scheduling a meeting and a developer would like to meet with all of the commissioners, I expect that an invite is given to all of them.